What's up, guys? We got Adele. She joined us last night. Today we're going to see the Terracotta Army, which is like the biggest thing to do in Xi'an.
Yeah, that's what Xi'an is known for.
Yeah, more or less. You know, it was built for Qin Shi Huang during the Qin dynasty, and apparently his tomb is still sealed, which is kind of cool. Like, they just kept it closed and no one touched it.
The river thing.
According to ancient texts, around his tomb there's rivers of mercury that are supposed to resemble like the waterways in China, which is so cool.
Very Tomb Raider, I think.
Yeah, very like Indiana Jones vibes. Yeah. It actually took us an obscene amount of time to find the entrance to the Terracotta Warriors. It's kind of far outside of the city of Xi'an, but we took a bus that was about 20 or 30 yuan to get there, and it was totally fine. Whoa, white people. Once you get in, there are multiple different buildings. We started with the museum, which was pretty interesting and gave us some much needed background on the Terracotta Warriors. It taught us about the 3 different areas where the warriors were found. There are 3 open sites in the exhibition. It taught us about the first people who stumbled across them, who were actually just farmers in rural Xi'an. Like, could you imagine just digging around in your backyard and suddenly you find 1,000-year-old statues? One thing you learned in the museum today.
They undug a chariot, and the second they dug it out, it broke into 4,000 pieces, and it took 5-10 years for them to rebuild it. 100 people worked on it to rebuild the chariot.
The hardest puzzle of all time.
Yeah.
One thing you learned in the museum.
It started with the Qing dynasty, which unified the warring states.
Yeah!
One thing you learned.
They didn't only make soldiers, they also made like artists and performers, and they were shirtless, which I think is just so cute. Like, imagine you just see a dancer with a skirt, topless, he's like, hey!
Yeah, next to the really buff army people.
I know, like he had a big ass, drunk in the trunk type, like, damn. Anyway, that's all. Now we're going into the real thing. After lunch, we finally got into the main exhibition hall. It was absolutely packed. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. There was pushing and shoving to get to the front. The amount of people is nuts. Even walking was mayhem, but we stopped, I would say, 4 or 5 times to get to the front and to see the statues. I will say seeing these things in person is honestly mind-blowing. The amount of detail in each one is crazy, and they're all unique and different. Also, one thing I thought was really interesting is that most of the soldiers are facing the east, and that's because during Qin Shi Huang's empire, most of the threats were coming from the east, so the army's positioned as if it's ready to defend the dynasty. This was one of the other exhibition halls. It was much smaller and the statues weren't complete. Some of them were still broken, some of them were headless. And the final hall that we went to was even less complete, just little bits of chariots and things. Rated out of 10?
10 out of 10.
Smash or pass? Smash! This is still a work in progress and they're still uncovering things to this day. Once we left the Terracotta Warriors, we stumbled across a sort of fair/carnival thing in Xi'an.
What happens when you give 2 Americans guns?
You're about to find out.
Damn, Lily! Yes!
To be fair, I was lucky. I got the automatic gun. Arianna had to keep reloading hers.
Finished product for Lily.
Not bad.
Yeah, we're still working on it.
We then got on the metro to go back to the Muslim quarter where we were staying. Biang Biang Mian. Rated out of 10, Arianna.
This is like solid 9 out of 10.
Okay. I got a wonton soup, which looks super spicy. I can't wait. And Adele got the same thing as Arianna.
Yeah.
But it's not here yet.
But I don't get to eat.
The next day, we went to further explore the Muslim quarter. A little background is that Xi'an was the ancient capital of China. It used to be called Chang'an. So it was basically the starting point of the Silk Road, which means that Islam was brought super early as the 7th century, which was actually not long after it began in the Middle East. So in the Muslim street quarter, you find all kinds of street food, halal. Lamb meat is really popular here, and it was all delicious. On the way, we found this museum-type thing that was a traditional folk house from ancient times in Xi'an. One of the richest families in Xi'an actually used to live here, and we got to see the layout of the house and all the different rooms and things. It took us a surprisingly really long time to actually find the Great Mosque of Xi'an. It's tucked in like a random back corner of the Muslim quarter, but once we got there, it was stunning. The mosque was built in 742 during the Tang Dynasty, and it's still both a working mosque and a historical site. So people were actually going in and praying while we were visiting. Obviously, it doesn't look like most mosques look. There's no big domes or anything like that. It's all done in very traditional Chinese architecture. The mosque also has stone inscription tablets written in both Chinese and Arabic that basically prove Islam was accepted by the Chinese emperors. Ladies, what are we doing today?
The wall.
We're seeing the wall. The Great Wall of China, psych. The Great Wall of Xi'an. The Xi'an city wall was built during the Ming dynasty, so somewhere in the 1300s. It's basically just a giant square wall. On the outside, you can see all kinds of skyscrapers, modern China, modern Xi'an. On the inside, it's more the ancient capital, Chang'an, the Muslim quarter. Hey vlog! So we just finished biking the whole wall. I only got one video because I didn't really feel comfortable holding my phone during the bike ride because my phone is currently without a case and without a screen protector. So yeah, but we did it.
And the road was very bumpy.
Yeah, the road was super bumpy. It low-key hurt, but it was pretty fun. Highly recommend. It's not super long. I would say it takes, what, like 30 minutes to get around the whole thing? Not even?
Well, you can't do the full circle, but...
You can't.
You can't do the full circle because part of it's closed, but I don't know if that's just for the new year because they have like a lantern festival thing. Now we're gonna go get some chow. It was also packed with people dressed in hanfu taking photos, which was a vibe. While we were on the wall, we saw this random temple, so we decided to go to it because it looked beautiful. It did not disappoint. The trees were blooming with flowers, the colors were magnificent, the air smelled like incense. This temple actually reminded me a lot of the temples in Thailand, just because it felt very colorful and the statues were all very bling bling, lots of gold. Back in Nanjing, oh that's blurry as sorry, wait. Back in Nanjing, getting some hot pot. Let's go. Arianna's visit was honestly a much needed excuse for me and Adele to finally get out and explore Nanjing, the actual city that we live in. Despite the fact that we've lived here for about 7 months, we really haven't seen much of Nanjing. Our first stop was the tomb of Ming Xiaoling. This is where the first emperor of the Ming dynasty, Zhu Yuanzhang, is buried. And bro was kind of a big deal because he was actually born a peasant and he was the one that overthrew the Yuan dynasty, which was run actually by the Mongols. The museum was kind of dense and heavy with all of the information, but it was very interesting. Probably one of the best parts of this though is that it's located right next to the Purple Mountain, which is a super famous mountain in Nanjing. The weather was not the best, but we still made the best of it and we walked around the park. It was gorgeous. I'm definitely gonna go back during springtime, so stay tuned. We are in Niushoushan in Nanjing, our hometown, or our home study abroad town. And we're here with Arianna and Adele behind the camera. And it's one of 4 biggest tourist attractions in Nanjing. Inside here we have some of the original relics from Buddha, which is crazy. We have this huge dome thing. It's just like an architectural masterpiece.
Fun fact, Arianna is an architect, so she is extremely impressed with this structure. So you know it's good when the architect has the jaw on the floor.
I really did not know what to expect from this place. First of all, the tickets were really quite expensive for China. Secondly, I hadn't actually even heard about it until Arianna mentioned that she really wanted to go here. But take it from me guys, this place is a must go if you ever come to Nanjing. It's so beautiful, it's so peaceful, and it's so artistic. It's super, super modern for a Buddhist temple. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before. It genuinely feels like you're walking in one giant piece of art. The name of the temple specifically is Ushnisha Palace or Foding Palace, and it cost about $600 million to build it. You have the option of hiking up to the top, which is pretty long and pretty hard, so we ended up taking the bus. There's also lots of little hikes around the temple that you can do, except they were closed because we came in winter.
This is inside the temple.
There are 2 floors. This is the main floor with the incredible dome roof and the giant Buddha in the middle. They also put on a performance on this floor, which we luckily got to see.
The Buddha is now gone. The roof has changed lights, and the show is about to start.
also had these giant lotus petals around the stage that moved up and down mechanically. Super dope.
柏林的埃及博物馆，喝杯咖啡，然后坐在船上观光，有你在我身边。
So yeah, when we finished on the first floor, we were super impressed. We already felt like we'd gotten our money's worth. Little did we know there was actually a whole nother level underneath that floor. We had less time here because it was about to close, but it was gorgeous.
All these walls are decorated, and we have to put this.
Hey, 只要有你在的地方。
I wasn't ready. Blooper. Hi guys! We made it outside of the temple. Yeah, this is the pagoda. Foding Pagoda.
We were in there. We were 7 floors down.
Okay, fun story. There was this girl with her boyfriend, right? And we were taking pictures outside before we even went into the temple. He was like, oh wow, you guys are really pretty, whatever, which like Chinese people do a lot. But he was like really adamant
jaw
about it.
on the floor.
And then he was like, oh, let's take a picture together, whatever. And then
like this. He went like
he was like
he took Arianna's arm and put it around her.
Like, what? And his girlfriend was right there, and we're kind of like, what the f? Girls, if your boyfriend does that, you need a new one. Kick him out the door. Disgusting.
This man over there.
Expose him.
Anyway, so pagoda right there, dome right here, hot blondes right there, and the view. It's a great view. And a redhead.
看着我的眼睛 face to face 草地上数星星背靠着背一起倒计时1 2 3躺在我的怀里让我伴你入睡